Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Very interested in talking with this woman today. She's going to be very enlightening, intriguing, and it starts with the mouth, your mouth,
Right.
our mouth. Amazing how much can be told from your mouth and about your health and everything going on there. And when it comes to your dental hygiene and your dental health, you can attack that holistically. I never even really thought about that. And I've had herbal remedies before for other things. Fantastic. We're going to dig into a holistic approach to your dental health. And Rupam Henry is with us. And it's great to have you here. How you doing today?
Good. It's really good to be here.
Yeah, unique as we look at this. And we're going to get to your backstory and how you got to where you are now, helping people in supporting them many different ways holistically. But when you look at somebody's mouth, do an exam, what can you tell from them?
God, so much. Okay. So most people forget that digestion starts in the mouth, right? So many people that have problems with their teeth and their gums, I automatically will look at their digestion. Okay. So I right away, if like even from somebody that maybe has a lot of plaque on their tongue, or maybe have morning breath, or notice that they don't have great breath. I mean, those are all indications that their digestion is struggling. So from a causal level, I would go right away and give them herbs to help their digestion, maybe talk to them about doing some lifestyle changes. Um, really, if dental professionals were educated correctly, we would like the first people to see what's going on with people.
Wow.
The immune system is down, teeth are sensitive on the gum line, the digestion is off, acid reflux. It's like battery acid in your mouth. It definitely can create cavities. So there is just right there is so much to see. Plus, most people don't know this. Every tooth is connected to an organ system and a place in the body.
Okay. Press the pause button right there. And what you just said completely makes sense. And I never thought of it in that way, that digestion starts in your mouth. And it's been said before, you have a piece of bread. That's why they talk about carbs. Before you even can swallow it, the saliva's already turned it into sugar by the time it's, here. But wow, in terms of the acid reflux, never thought about what that's
Yeah.
doing in your mouth. We just think of it more, in the esophagus and the upper digestive tract. So what you just said, every tooth is connected to an organ in the body. Is that sort of like reflexology in the foot?
Kind of, yes. I mean, it's ancient knowledge when it comes to the East. Acupuncturists often know, and I have this chart on my website. Most of the Eastern traditional healing arts know of this, okay? Because it is like reflexology. It tells you a lot. See, all the teeth are sitting in the same chemical soup. Why is one tooth decaying versus another tooth? So that often also shows me, okay, this person's organ, say for instance, it's pancreas and stomach. I'm like, I would pay a lot of attention to that organ system. I would ask the person, how much sugar do you eat? Do you eat often enough smaller meals to keep your blood sugar level even during the day? I mean, it
Wow.
gives you so many pieces to go into the person's health.
Now, when we talk about holistic healing and your dental health, what are some things that you do, what can be done? And I'm a big believer in herbals.
Hmm.
I know that's part of what you offer. Side note, talk about digestion, experience it for myself firsthand last fall, dealing with a lot of stress. I've had ulcer issues back in the day and all of that, and it flared up over the last autumn. Really, really bad. Just gonna say. I met an herbalist and she made me, I was about to go to the hospital at that point. I'm like, what is going on here? She mixed me up a concoction. 2 days later, I was fine.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I actually, have plenty left in the bottle, have given it to a friend already and
Right.
shared it because and all it was um, marshmallow root, catnip, and cat's claw,
Yeah,
and drink aloe vera juice with pulp to coat.
exactly.
Give me a couple of
Exactly.
days, you'll be fine. Bam, was fine.
Yeah.
So I'm convinced we're good, with the holistic. And there's a place for, traditional meds, but hello, I was taking Nexium. Oh, that wasn't doing anything. So it's amazing what herbals can do. How can that support our dental health?
Oh, in a big way. I mean, first a little bit on herbals just by themselves. I mean,
Sure.
I was born into 13 generations of medicine makers and pharmacists, right? So I watched my granddad do still everything by hand and from herbs. And then both my parents became pharmacists, and we knew that every pharmaceutical has a side effect, which is different when it comes to herbs. So we would go immediately, like if there was
Mm,
something like an acid reflux, we would go to all the bitters. Like aloe vera is a bitter,
didn't
right?
even know.
It gets the bile going, it gets the digestive juices going. Marshmallow is soothing to your stomach, but it doesn't have any side effects. So having said all that, when it comes to dental, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, and maybe I have to go even a little bit more back. Are you familiar with the germ theory versus the terrain theory?
Explain.
Okay, so germ theory is based Pasteur. Most people have heard of Pasteur. He's kind of responsible to pasteurizing milk products and all that
Sure.
stuff, right?
Sure.
So 18th century, he was talking about his theory was if you wipe out all the germs, all the viruses, all the bacteria, which of course is not possible, right? We're kind of walking petri dishes. Then if you wipe all that out, you should be healthy. Okay, that's the germ theory. Now, at the same time frame, two other people were working on theories, and that was Antoine Béchamp and Bertrand. And they were saying, no, wait a minute. If your terrain, if your body, the immune system is strong, the digestion is strong, the adrenals are doing well, if that's all going on, it doesn't really matter what microbe, one bacteria, what virus walks through, your system isn't very hospitable.
Hmm.
So an overgrowth of all this stuff is going to not be very likely to happen. Okay. Now, when it comes to herbs usually help the body to get stronger. I mean, unless you do take the wrong herb or something like that.
Sure.
But otherwise, the body it helps the immune system, like elderberry and goji berries, and or we're talking mineralization for teeth. Think of horsetail, which is the richest in silica in the plant world, or nettle, which has so much mineral it even gives back to the earth. So all this stuff is fantastic to drink, and it helps your hair, your nails, your teeth, your bones, super mineralizing, right? Also alkalizing. In holistic health, we hear a lot about alkalizing, alkalizing, alkalizing. Anything that's mineral rich, like nettle, will help your blood to alkalize. And when you are alkalizing and mineralizing, your body is better to absorb minerals into bone or teeth. That's where
Hmm.
that whole alkaline acid thing comes in really big, and good minerals. But the minerals have to be recognized by the body. So when somebody takes synthetic minerals, the body kind of treats it as a toxin. It will go, whoa, what's that? Don't know quite what that is. So that's why I'm such a proponent for herbs and for herbal medicine, or um, vitamins and supplements made from herbs and fruit and things, because the body knows what to do with it.
Is there any negative with herbs? I would have to imagine there's a chance, a small chance of the wrong herbs or the wrong concoction, but the difference between traditional meds, it can go very wrong very fast in
Yes,
terms of taking the wrong thing, too much of the wrong thing, interactions and all of that. Like
right.
the herbs seem like a fraction of issues where the potential for, where when it comes to regular traditional medicine, I mean, the risk there is much higher.
I mean, yeah, just look at all the side effects, right? Like when you see a
Yeah.
commercial on
Oh,
TV,
there you go.
and the person talks so fast of what it all does, all the way to death, you don't have that with herbs unless you take something crazy that you're not meant to take, like foxglove or, some of that stuff you need a clinical herbalist to help you with. But really, when you stay in the area of nettles and oat straw and even cat's claw or um, spearmint and peppermint and self-heal, calendula, those things virtually have not a side effect. You can take many herbs long term. The holy basil is an adaptogen, helping your body to be stronger when there's any kind of stressors happening. Lot of herbs, and I would, for beginning people, I would say stay with the herbs that you can do long term, like the adaptogens and the mineralization alkalizing herbs and the digestives, like peppermint and chamomile. I mean, for pregnancy, you have to really ask somebody, because some of those herbs that seem to be very simple and easy are
Sure.
still not great for pregnant people or pregnant women. But otherwise, unless you go all crazy, uh, herbs are really safe.
Tell me about your journey at Rupam that got you here, helping people like
Yeah,
me.
it's been a crazy, awesome journey. I'm born in Germany. I'm born into 13 generations of medicine makers, herbalists, alchemists, pharmacists at this point. And I left pretty young because I adored the way my grandfather was working. I was thinking, even as a little kid, I thought, oh, I'm all in. And then I watched my two parents becoming pharmacists, and it was all like pick up the phone and order from big pharma, basically,
Mm.
industry, pharmaceuticals,
Yep.
And I remember as a child going, whoa, that does not look fun. And so I left home pretty much not knowing anything in terms of what I would want to do. But what really got me at age 16 was the spiritual path. So I actually left for India and lived in India for 5 years. Came back and ended up here in the States. And I don't know if dentistry found me or I found dentistry. I just wanted a health path that I could do in Germany and Europe and here in the States. And started working in dentistry. And pretty much within the first 2 years, when I had all my licenses done, it was like, whoa, there are so many pieces missing.
Hmm.
This is like, whoa, and that kind of got me to go back to school. I became a holistic health counselor. I went back to school and worked around nutrition. And and then I had a dream that made it very clear that I needed to go back to my lineage of medicine making. And that's when things started to come together.
Wow.
I started making like my grandfather used to make medicine the old-fashioned way, um, plus my own kind of spin on that. And then I also became a minister. So I really wanted to create a holistic picture through which I could support people, because nothing is separate. The physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual body, it's all one big picture. Okay. And when you look at my dental chart that's on the website, you will also see how there is emotions connected to different teeth. So it's just one big picture. Okay. And when I added to put dentistry into it, I was literally the forerunner. There was no holistic dental anything yet.
I've never even heard of it. And
Yeah.
it's in my mind, I'm like, duh.
Yeah.
Um, we can heal people holistically through the body.
Yeah.
Why not the mouth? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why it didn't, in my mind, didn't
Yeah.
connect. And I know nobody else that does what you do. And how you support that. Tell us how you do in terms of helping people. Um, yeah, can you do it virtually? Somebody
Yeah.
describes an
Yeah. Yeah.
issue. Yeah,
Yeah,
tell
for
us.
sure. I mean, usually what happens is if somebody has a consultation or wants to have a consultation, I have them fill out an intake, and the intake is full of health questions. Okay. Many people might look at that intake and go, well, what does that have to do with dental?
Sure.
But it has everything to do with dental. So I want to know about their health, their overall health. And then I ask them for their most recent x-rays. So they usually email me that, and it's actually good to know for people that your x-rays are legally your property. Meaning when I walk out of an office, before I walk out the door, I will ask them, please forward those x-rays to my email so I can keep it in my own file.
We learned something today, people, among other things, but I wasn't
Because
aware of that.
Yeah, because, many people would like to maybe have a second opinion. In fact, I support people. I said, have a third opinion. You want to be really clear what you do, especially if there's a big treatment plan and if it's overwhelming. And, you want to talk to a lot of different people because one dentist might be saying one thing, and then you would be surprised how many times the treatment plan is completely different,
Hmm.
you know,
Yep. I
which,
understand what you're saying on a lower level. I had a cavity in one of my two front teeth, and
yeah,
this is going back probably about 7 years ago.
okay,
And one was, to the side of one tooth in the middle. And one doctor was saying, well, yeah, I don't know, we're looking at a root canal. You might need an implant, blah, 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 blah. Went to another dentist. He's like, no, don't even, you're good. We're going to fill it. Should there be an issue? Yeah, we'll let you know right then. But I think we got this. And that was it. So if I opted for the other choice, oh my gosh. And here it is years later,
exactly.
no issues. It's all good.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And just for you to know, this area, the upper four teeth and the lower four teeth, is connected to kidney and bladder. So it's always good to know to track back. Maybe there were 3, 4 years where maybe there were a lot of stressors, or I know I go through times where I don't hydrate as well,
Hmm.
or things like that. It's good to know how to support that tooth.
Wow. See,
Be-
this is the cool stuff. The fact
Yes.
that you know how to connect that.
Yeah.
Can you, in the moments we have left, and we're going to tell everybody how to connect with you
Yeah.
and your herbal program and everything. Um, Other teeth that are connected to other parts of the body, like you just said,
Right.
kidney and bladder, four in the front, top and bottom.
Yeah.
What else is going
Then
on?
the eye teeth, our vampire teeth,
Yeah.
they are liver. Those are our liver teeth. Okay. And then most of the molars are connected to the digestive system. And
Hmm.
as I said, on my website, this is a free PDF that people can download. There is a full picture. I actually have the chart right here, so I'll show it to you.
Oh, wow.
Um, and the way you read this chart is if you look at another person. Okay, so if you know this is the upper right, if you're looking at it, it would look like the upper left, but it is your upper right. It's mirror reversed. Okay, so you have to hold it like this, and then this is the upper right. And the first, teeth are the wisdom teeth. Most people don't have them anymore. And this is the American numbers. European numbers are different. But you can look that up if you're in Europe. So this is hugely important because, as I said, why does this one tooth decay and not another? It's all in the same chemical soup. And once you
Hmm.
know the connection, you can take herbs to help that organ system, and then that tooth is strengthened.
My gosh. Um, it's so cool. Uh, I want to, why is it that that takes place? Is it always an organ, or is there a possibility, well, that tooth is just weak. The enamel on it wasn't that great compared to the other teeth. Is that also a strong possibility, or many times there's something else going on there?
Yes, but then you have to think, how did this tooth get there?
Hmm.
Why is it not building and absorbing enough minerals to keep it strong? And many times underlying all that, even the organ system, are the adrenals. So when it comes to mineral absorption in the bones and especially your teeth, the adrenals are kind of underlying all of it. that's why when somebody, for instance, in the last 3, 4 years through the whole COVID era, you know, people were afraid for their livelihood. So many people came to me, never had cavities before. Suddenly they had cavities because for 3, 4 years, their finances was a really stressful situation for them, you know. So if your adrenals are constantly, chronically in fight and flight, you know, either because you drink 10 cups of coffee a day, or you're jumping off a bridge on a bungee cord all the time, or you're just an adrenal junkie of everything that's up, 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 and, you know, lots of, yeah, stimulants, you know, or, you know, you are scared and you're scared chronically, that can really have an impact on the mineral absorption because it's totally exhausting your adrenals if it's long term. I'm not
Hmm.
talking about somebody cuts you off on the street and your adrenals are going
No,
nuts,
no,
you
you're
know.
in a constant state of
Yeah, you're in a
stress,
constant state of,
anxiety. There's lots going on. You're always worried about what's happening next and all of that. And it's not like you're in a
exactly.
tornado.
Yeah.
Um, Dealing with that kind of stress and what you just described, how would that impact your dental health?
Well, exactly. I mean, that's the perfect storm if it goes on for years. So there is one thing, you cannot get a cavity overnight, okay? A cavity often takes 2, 3, 4 years
Hmm.
before it's visible on X-ray or the naked eye.
Wow.
So that's why at the end of the whole thing, people would come, whoa, I have suddenly cavities. But I know that's not a sudden thing. Your teeth and your bones are the hardest substance. It takes a while. Okay. It takes a
Wow.
while of not enough mineral absorption, not enough mineral absorption. And then suddenly it shows.
So percentage, call it 100% is whatever issues you have, they're connected to something else. Something else is going on, stress, anxiety, other organs. And let's face it, a lot of times that's caused by stress, anxiety, all that stuff going on around you.
Yeah.
When it comes to your dental health, would you say it's 100% that there's other things going on that just happen to be manifesting in your mouth? Or would you say, well, maybe 80%? What do you think?
I would say, I mean, unless you knock out a tooth or you break a tooth or you get hit in the
Trauma
face
in
or
your mouth.
something, you know, obviously. But I would say it's, I've always found it to be connected to the rest of your health.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, you know, when we always tell people brush and floss, it's really a small piece in the whole picture. Anybody that's worked in dentistry, we know that if you've paid any attention, there's people that don't brush and floss very well and have nothing going
Mm,
on,
right.
right? And then there's people that freaking do everything every day 3 times. And
And they
every
got
time they
teeth cut.
go,
Yeah, teeth falling out. Like, what's going on? I don't know
right.
why. I guess it's in my family. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Uh,
And you
wow.
know, I mean, a really extreme case would be somebody that's gone through chemo and radiation.
Th-
You know, then
yeah.
their body is hit so hard, it's going to show up in their teeth most likely. And then, but again, you see, it has to do with overall health, you know.
Yes. So interesting. Um, I shared before we got on here. But interesting that we're even talking. That I saved myself a note to make an appointment for a dental exam. It's been a while, but it's almost like this is the another reason to do it. And like on this side, the last tooth, feels like something going on over there. Maybe a cavity
Right.
brewing. Wisdoms were taken out years ago, so it's the one right before the wisdom tooth.
Okay.
And I'm wondering what that is. Probably stress and anxiety because I dealt with that, as I mentioned before.
And also, you know, um, I lost my train of thought, but when I thought this is your tooth at upper right would be number two, okay? And it's connected, what I just said, pancreas and stomach.
Mm.
So you might, I mean, I know that my teeth get a little sensitive. It's usually because my immune system is down a little, either because of stress. So I know I will take extra vitamin C and elderberry and zinc and D3. You know, I will, if that, it's like literally my friend, it's telling me, hey, your immune system is a little down, you know,
Wow.
do a little extra. And then, of course, you know, I mean, that's also why I became a minister, because it was like, how do you hold space for people that are so stressed out? They need to learn how to hold themselves and soothe themselves. It's a big piece. And, we have amazing nervous system tonics, herbally speaking. Almost everybody at this point needs a nervous system tonic.
Sure.
Just life is too fast, it's too crazy. Plus, you have to remember, we're now dealing with environmental toxins we have never had to deal with before. All the radiation from cell phones, all the pesticides and the stuff that's in the air, all the heavy metals that are in the air.
Sure.
So how do you help your system to stay healthy and strong? I mean, that's now become a really big picture in dentistry.
It's odd that it's almost like we have to wage a war within our bodies against what's around us, in terms of those environmental factors, pesticides in food. Like we need to be preemptive, but fortunately more of us are realizing there is a thing called herbals. Let's go right to what you offer. So if somebody's, dealing with some dental issues, it's not making sense for them, can they reach out to you, and how do they learn more? I mean, you have a holistic dental rescue kit, which is Herbals, like super cool idea. How do we connect with you?
So either via phone, it's 415-497-5141. Okay, I'm in California. And then also through the website, Rupam, R-U-P-A-M, rupamherbals.com, or through email, which is info@rupamherbals.com.
Amazing talking with you. I just learned so much today. Had no idea about how our teeth are really our friend, and they're tipping us off to what's going on within our bodies. An amazing journey for you, Rupam. 13 generations.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how you found your purpose aligning with the generations before you and helping people like this. Appreciate you being here. Wow.
Oh, I am so, yes, Steve, thank you so much. Wonderful talking to you.
You too. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.